The Chief Executive in Council decided at a special meeting this morning to invoke the power under the Emergency Regulations Ordinance and make a new regulation in the name of Prohibition on Face Covering Regulation, which is essentially an anti-mask law.
On Friday, the Hong Kong government introduced a new law banning face masks in this city. This was introduced using something called the Emergency Regulations Ordinance, a colonial-era law that is still on the books here that gives the government the right to introduce a whole lot of very restrictive policies and laws into this city. Now, it's granting the police extra powers to arrest people and effectively pushing the police out to do the job of governing in this city. Now you think about what that means. The police force have a toolbox with effectively one tool in it, and that tool is a mallet. Now, in a way, you can't really blame the police because it is the government that's pushed them out in front, and their increasing brutality over the last few weeks towards protesters, towards bystanders, and even journalists is a natural response to the escalation that we're seeing in this city.
It is essential for us to stop violence and restore calmness in society as soon as possible.
Now, to a certain extent, you can't really even blame the Hong Kong government for the predicament that we're seeing in the city today. That's because Carrie Lam, the chief executive of the city, does not have the power to compromise or to make any concessions whatsoever. That is purely in the gift of the central government in Beijing. The reason Chinese President Xi Jinping has no ability to compromise is, think about it. If you had him allowing people in Hong Kong to vote for their leaders, what would the people in Shanghai, in Beijing, in Shenzhen say about this? If you're Xi Jinping, the possibility of backing down in the face of violent protests is also an incredibly dangerous thing to do. Now, what does this all mean? It means that almost certainly the protests are going to escalate. Almost certainly the crackdown is going to intensify. And everything here is going to get worse.